Today, let's talk about patience, but probably not in the way you usually think about it. We're not talking about just passively waiting around. We're talking about patience as a hidden, powerful force for growth. And we're going to uncover this whole idea through a fantastic story about a young boy and a very special tree. So meet Sami. He's a 14-year-old kid, and his grandfather gives him this tiny little olive sapling. And with it comes this simple but, really profound promise. It's a vision of a future reward, but it's tied to a pretty big condition: daily, patient care. As you can imagine, Sami is filled with hope and gets to work right away. And this right here is where the real story begins. Because Sami, he waters the sapling, he protects it, he does everything he's supposed to do. But days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into months, and absolutely nothing breaks the surface. It's a feeling I think we all know, right? That deep frustration of putting in all the work and seeing absolutely zero results. This brings us to the first and, honestly, maybe the most difficult part of any big project: the battle with waiting. This isn't just about time passing by. It's a real internal struggle against all that doubt and impatience that bubbles up inside. You see, here's this huge disconnect between what we see and what's really going on. On the surface, all Sami saw was bare, cracked soil. I mean, to him, it must have looked like a total failure. But underground, where it mattered most, something amazing was happening. A powerful network of roots was forming, building the essential foundation for all the growth that was to come. Now, Sami's frustration only got worse when he saw his friends' plans shooting up super fast, which just made him feel like he was failing. This is a super common cognitive bias we all fall for. We're just wired to value what we can see, that visible progress, and we often totally dismiss the slow, unseen work that creates real, lasting strength. And this quote just perfectly captures the wisdom his grandfather was trying to share. Patience isn't about sitting back and doing nothing. For Sami, it meant he had to keep showing up, keep watering that patch of dirt, day after day, acting with faith that his efforts were fueling a process he just couldn't see yet. So after all of this invisible work and this huge internal struggle, we finally get to a turning point, the first real sign that his faith was about to pay off. Take a look at this timeline. It wasn't a week or a month. It was nearly a full year of consistent effort before a single tiny green sprout finally pushed its way through the soil. That one small sign, that little bit of green, represented 12 long months of unseen labor and just unwavering trust. So here's the most important point. The sprout wasn't the beginning of the growth. It was the result of it. It was that moment when the invisible finally became visible. You can imagine this was Sami's big aha moment, where he finally understood that the most important work always happens long before you see any rewards. This story is about so much more than gardening. That period of waiting, of tending to those invisible roots, that's where some of life's most profound lessons are found. At the very core of this is the concept of sabr, or patience. But again, this isn't passive waiting. Think of it more as a spiritual discipline, the active training of your mind and heart to endure delays without breaking down, to face all that uncertainty with real strength. And paired with that is tawakkul, or reliance. This is the perfect balance between action and letting go. Sami did everything he could. He watered, he cared for the plant, he protected it. That's the effort. And then he had to trust the process. He had to have faith that the outcome would show up in its own perfect timing. So what's really growing during this long wait? Well, it's not just the tree, it's our own character. The wait itself cultivates discipline, humility, and the emotional control we need to manage all that frustration. The delay isn't an obstacle, it's the very soil where resilience begins to grow. Okay, this is a beautiful story, but how do we take this wisdom and actually apply it to our own lives? How do we identify and start nurturing our own invisible roots? Well, just think about your own life for a second. In your career, the invisible roots are all the skills you're building, the networking you're doing, the experience you're gaining. In fitness, it's every single workout that doesn't show immediate results on the scale. In your relationships, it's those daily acts of listening and building trust, piece by piece. This is the real foundational work. Let's go back to Sami one last time to see where this long journey of patience finally leads. This is the payoff, the reward for all of that unseen effort. And here it is, years down the line, that tiny little sapling becomes this strong, thriving olive tree. And it's not just bearing fruit, it's providing shade and sustenance for his entire family. The reward ended up being so much greater than he could have possibly imagined. And it was only possible because of that really difficult initial period of waiting. So the lessons from this are pretty clear. True patience is active, not passive. The invisible work you're doing is actually the most important work. And those delays, they're not failures. They're opportunities to build your character. And remember, comparing yourself to others just destroys your peace. Lasting success is always a blend of effort, patience, and faith in a process you can't always see. The grandfather's final piece of wisdom just ties it all together beautifully. The strength of a tree and the strength of a person, they're forged in the exact same way. Not through speed, but through slow, steady, patient growth. And that really leaves us with this one last powerful question to think about. In those areas of your life where you're waiting for a breakthrough, are you just waiting? Are you letting frustration take over? Or are you actively nurturing your roots, knowing that the most important work is happening right now, just